What's going on, YouTube? It's your friend and pal, the Twisted Story Asylum man. Don't mind my shirt. This is just a band that started in 1988 called Anal Con. They made some really terrible music. It was some sort of like weird noise grind or grindcore. They have a certain novelty, but anyway. What this video is about is I'm here to tell you about truck driving and life in general, okay? I'm just kind of like speaking off the cuff. No script, no nothing, okay? Now, I see all these guys out here, you know, they want the Lamborghinis and the fucking mansions, and lately this guy named Andrew Tate has been practically taking over YouTube and TikTok, and that's fine and everything like that. My beliefs, I subscribe more to, you know, the van life philosophy, especially, you know, like Bob Wells, guy who lives in his van. I think that guy has the right idea, if anybody. That's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm living in my van, so this way I don't have to commute to and from work every day. So I'm saving money, less wear and tear on my vehicles. I have more time. Instead of commuting, I can go to the gym and work out. I could go shopping, go have breakfast down at IHOP, go to Red Lobster if I want to, you know. The problem is if I had a girlfriend, I couldn't do that. Okay, this isn't the fucking Middle East where, you know, whatever the man says goes. It ain't like that. My suggestion, if you want to get married and have a family, move to Eastern Europe or the Middle East. America, in my opinion, is done. It's finished. It's over. Okay, so anyway, that's just me talking shit. Don't mind me. So anyway, So, okay, about truck driving. A lot of people say, oh, I want a liberal arts degree, and I want to learn about women's gender study, and yada, yada, yada. Shit that's completely useless and will not get you a job. Okay, there's a lot of good trades out there you can get, like a plumber, electrician, mechanic. Here's the problem with those jobs. The problem with those jobs is you have to buy $40,000 worth of tools to make it work. Truck driving, you don't. You don't even need any tools at all. If you've got tools, you're better off. I already had tools, but you don't need them. Now, I'm going to explain to you why truck driving is the best job you could ever ask for if you're a cheapskate. Okay, this is not going to be for everyone. Truck driving, if you want to have a family and live a life of luxury and blah, yada, yada, it's not for you. Forget it. It's not for you. Go to college and get a degree in STEM. Don't even waste your fucking time. Truck driving is great for cheapskates. Let me explain why. Okay, the schooling, usually somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. And if you're broke, you could have it reduced. Okay, like mine only cost me about $7,000, and they let me pay $65 a month until it's paid off. I mean, I have the cash to pay it off now, but I'm putting that toward other things. Okay, so right, they basically pay $7,000 over the course of however many years for a CDL, because I went to a trucking school, a very good one, actually. Okay. So, the house I currently live in, yes, I own my own home. I paid $7,000 for. I'm going to buy another one and trade my camper and $4,000, hopefully with the banks or my money or my credit card or whatever, I want to buy a second house. And then I might buy other properties around the area. Okay. But I'll explain to you why trucking is great for cheapskates. Because, like I said, you don't have to buy a lot of tools. It's not that expensive to get your foot in the door. And you can live in the sleeper berth. You can do over-the-road truck driving and live in the sleeper berth. They drug test you. So it will incentivize you not to smoke weed or do drugs all the time. Guess what? As a result, you can save money. That's right. Like I said, it's a great job if you're a cheapskate. But you have to be religiously cheapskate. I mean, Over-the-road truck driving is the perfect job for you if you want no children, no girlfriend. You want to be a cheap motherfucker and live in the sleeper berth. And I mean, you could go full extreme and eat nothing but tuna fish, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and rice. I mean, if you wanted to. Me personally, I like to go to I like to go eat lobster, and I used to go to titty bars and casinos a lot, but that's just me. But if you reduce your living expenses, you can go party all the time if you want, or you could just be a fucking cheapskate and like hide away in your little sleeper berth. But you have that option, is what I'm getting at. Like, okay, I grew up in Connecticut, okay, where it's very fucking expensive, and I said, fuck renting an apartment, fuck that, because I was staying with a family member of mine. They were running like a boarding house at the time, or well, not officially, but unofficially they were running like a boarding house, and I was staying there. So I said, somebody said, why don't you get your own place? I said, I got a fucking better idea. Why don't I get a CDL and stay in a sleeper berth for free? And then the company pays to keep my cute little ass warm with their diesel. A lot of people are complaining about the price of fuel. Well, yeah, this affects you if you are an owner-operator. Yeah, but if you're a company driver, see, I was smart, and I got hooked up with some guy running a really, really small company. Okay? So, I was doing step deck work for 44 cents a mile. That's jack diddly fucking squat. But guess what? As a result, I had lots of flexibility. Nobody that was any good at doing step deck was going to do that type of work for that kind of money. But I had the guy by the balls. Because normally in truck driving, you want to get your loads in on time. But me, getting my loads in on time was when I felt like bringing them in. Like, what the fuck's he going to do? Fire me? He can't. He can't find anybody. Because step deck work is like expert level truck driving. If you're a steering wheel holder, you will not make it running a step deck, let me tell you. Especially like a low profile step deck, hauling like, those F-750 truck chassis driven on top of one another. You will not make it. You will, you will not make it. You will be fucking destroyed, okay? My suggestion, also, going to truck driving, do something hard, like flatbed. No, step deck, RGN, whatever, furniture moving. That way you eliminate a lot of your competition. But the beauty of truck driving is the bar has been set so low and the turnover is so high, you could be a complete fucking weirdo degenerate that bathes once a month and still get a job in trucking. You could be like a convicted felon. There's companies right now that are so desperate for drivers, they were actually like hiring people right out of prison if they had a CDL. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like Western Express, I believe they hire felons. CR England probably will too. Okay, they're not the greatest companies in the world to work for, I get it, but fuck it. It's a way to get your foot in the door. Also, truck driving is a great career if you think in the long term. Because who knows, you could buy a truck and make some money and then try to buy another one and, make a fleet. Although, in this day and age with the way things are going right now, I don't know if that's really possible anymore. But it was when I first started. Now, maybe not so much. Maybe you should just go ahead and go to another country and try that. Because America's going down. Okay, so I already was well aware of this. If it wasn't for the fact that I found such cheap real estate in another state, I probably would be trying to pack up and leave this fucking country, to tell you the truth. But, okay, if you could, like, out in Warren, Youngstown, or let's say if you go to Detroit or Gary, Indiana, there's a lot of places in the Rust Belt that are like so fucking cheap to buy. And some of these places have relatively low taxes as well. Now, unfortunately, yeah, you got to be around a bunch of drug addicts. But there's a lot of people that live in areas, okay, where they look at the guy with the Lamborghini and the mansion. Oh, I'm so depressed because I can't have that. I feel like a loser. No, you got to take that mindset and flip it around, right? Now, if you're in a place like Warren, Ohio, you are surrounded by down and out drug addicts. People that are mentally defective. People that pick up rocks and clank them together and go, 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 gaga. Pretty much, right? Now, now, if you were even remotely successful at all, and you don't even have to be close to being rich to being successful in a place like Warren, Ohio, or fucking Youngstown. Okay, you look at the losers, the drug addict losers on the streets. Now, compared to them, you could be like royalty, right? Compared to them, and you're thinking, okay, I own my own house and a few cars, maybe got a motorcycle, and I'm doing pretty fucking good compared to these losers over here. Like, you know, you see the homeless people, oh, give me some change, man. And you're a truck driver with a CDL, and you say to them, I said to one guy, well, okay, here's the deal. You're out here begging for money, and from me, with a CDL in a truck, why don't you go get a CDL? Seriously, why don't you go get a CDL? I mean, apparently you think we have all this money. Why don't you go, more complicated than that. Do whatever the fuck it takes. Like, when I went to trucking school, I said, I am going to get that CDL or I'm going to fucking shoot myself. So, if you motivate yourself in that sense, okay, if you say, I will get this no matter what, that's the only way you're going to make it. The only way you're going to make it in any career is you have to say, you have to want it really badly. You have to say, I am going to make this work or I'm going to blow my fucking brains out. Yeah, you got to want it pretty badly. You got to want it really badly. If there's any doubt in your mind at all, don't do it. Just don't. If you're a person that's filled with doubt, just get your job at Walmart and forget about it. If you have any doubt at all, it's over. You have to believe in yourself. That's part of it. Or even if you don't, you gotta try. You have to. You have to think, I want this 1 million trillion %. Like, you gotta be 150% ready. And I feel the same about parents having children. I don't believe you should have children unless you are 150% ready and down for it, ready to go. I think this idea that we're having all these accidental births is because most people that hook up at bars are too fucking stupid to wear a condom and pull out. It's not that hard. It's not fucking rocket science. And then they end up with accidental children. Now, anyway, I'm going on a rant about that. Sorry, my bad. But anyway, what I'm getting at is truck driving has a lot of benefits. And a lot can stem out from that. You could work your way toward becoming a diesel mechanic. You could use that opportunity to travel around the country for free. So if you live in a place like California, like California, if you live in a place like that, or New York, or Jersey, or any of those places. Now, you're not paying for an apartment. You live in the truck. You travel around the country. Now you get an idea of what other places are like. So that way you can relocate and you already know the area in which you're moving to, and you did it on the company's dime. That's smart. Can you become wealthy from truck driving? Like, as in being a company driver? Fuck no. You can't become wealthy being a company employee doing anything. You have to be self-employed on some level. But, you know, you work for a company to build that platform in which to leap from. You know, I mean, yeah, I guess if you buy a bunch of trucks over time and you got a fleet of trucks, I mean, I guess, yeah. Especially if you start a semi-towing company, yeah, I guess you could become wealthy. Sure, why not? You know, sure. Or, you know, find out where the cheap houses are at and buy them all at once or buy one at a time. I met a guy, lived out there from Boston, Massachusetts. He told me, you know, and for the price of a house in Boston, Massachusetts, Warren, Ohio, I could buy a whole street. Like I said, originally I'm from Connecticut. I will never move back. That state can suck me. That's right. Yeah. They're trying to charge me vehicle taxes for vehicles that haven't been registered in their state for 3 years. Matter of fact, the vehicle taxes exceed my house taxes. So, again, fuck the Lamborghinis. Fuck the mansions. You don't need them. If I was rich, you know what I'd do? I'd buy a mansion and rent it to somebody. Why? What do I need a mansion for? If I can live in a fucking sleeper berth, what do I need a mansion for? Like I said, if I was rich and I had a Lamborghini, I'd rent it to people. I don't need a Lambo or a mansion to have status, to be awesome. I don't. A lot of people think you do, but you don't. It all depends on how you get yourself set up. Now, like what I'm trying to do is slowly over time buy properties one at a time, and then eventually someday I might own that whole street. Then later on I may decide to run for city councilman, work my way up. Now, since I know a lot of people in the trucking industry, and I know various people in various industries, who knows, man, I might be able to work something out. Bring them into that town. But anyway, success really depends on the individual. What are your standards? Okay. If you are a guy with high standards, you will never be happy, you will never be successful, nothing will ever be enough. But if you have low standards, you will always be happy. Think about it. If you are a millionaire, but you're living in LA, like you make $1 million, you can live comfortably. If you're a millionaire and you live in Youngstown, Ohio, you could probably like buy half the city. Well, maybe not half of it, but you could buy a lot of fucking property. I mean, you could fucking live like a rock star out there for that kind of money. See, a lot of people get distracted by the nice things in life. Yeah, no. A lot of people get nice and expensive conflated. Let me explain something to you. Okay, things that are nice to me are things that are cheap, right? Your house is a dump, they say to me. No, it's not. My house is nice. You know why? It's nice to my wallet. That's why. I could be a multi-millionaire and I'd still live in my dump house in Warren. I'd buy the mansion and rent it to somebody. That's what I would do. What the fuck do I need a mansion for? To impress women? Look, if a woman is that impressed by expensive things, I don't want her in my life anyway. She's fucking like garbage to me. You know, I don't need her around me. You know, at that point, you might as well, I mean, look, if a woman's interested in you for your money, you'd be better off hiring a hooker, tell you the truth. You'd be better off doing that. At least it's honest. You know, like I was watching, anyway. But like I said, truck driving, especially if you do step deck or anything like really challenging, it can give you a lot to be proud of. Yeah, a lot of guys say, I don't want to tarp, I don't want to step, I don't want to get my nails dirty. Motherfucker, that's how you make it in the world. You gotta like exit your comfort zone. That's how you make it in the world. You don't know that? It's like, what, you're afraid to get dirty? How about those guys that put roofing shingles on houses? Those guys that are bricklayers. Flatbedding's easy compared to that shit on a physical level. Maybe not on a technical level. Because there's a lot of stress involved in truck driving. You got to deal with DOT, and you got to make sure you got all your ducks in a row as far as paperwork, and you have to do a lot of planning, plan your fuel stops, plan where you're going to sleep for the night. There's a lot of variables that go into it. And you have to do it truck driving right, you have to overthink. You have to look at every single possible angle there is to look at. Or you could be one of those fucking idiots on the side of the interstate going, how did I end up here on the side of the interstate? It's because you didn't think that far ahead. That's why. You got to think ahead. And you have to assume that every single DOT officer is out there to destroy you. Therefore, you got to have your shit together. Or be really good at, well, I mean, I guess you could be good at going around way stations, but, you know, that shit's going to catch up with you eventually, you know. They want to get you, they're going to get you, okay? All right? If they want to get you, they're going to get you. Okay? So, if you want to be a dumbass and haul oversized shit with no permits, have fun. Don't do it. You're not getting paid enough. The only way it's worth breaking the law in truck driving is if you're hauling like an entire semi-truck full of crack and getting paid like $1 million direct to you for going 500 miles. Yeah, that might be worth it. But other than that, most companies don't pay you enough to run out of hours, to be stuck on the side of the road and all that shit. And you have to keep your living expenses low. So this way, you could just say, yeah, fuck you, and walk away. Like me. Unfortunately, we're in a very fucked up time in human history, or at least in the United States, where having children is really expensive and really fucking cumbersome, to the point where, in some cases, the mom and the father have to work. So I have decided I'm going to be alone the rest of my days, and whatever wealth I have, I'm going to keep to myself. I might change my mind someday. Who knows? I hope I don't. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't give a fuck if people say, oh, having children is wonderful. Oh, being married is wonderful. Fuck that. Fuck that. I could rock it by myself. No problem. I guess you could say I subscribe to the MGTOW movement. I'm definitely... I had a chick I met up with in a bar who wanted me to put a baby in her. I didn't do it, but yeah, she put the proposition out there. I had a chick that was trying to pressure me into being in some relationship. She wasn't even that good looking to begin with, and I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to be babysitting her kids for free while she's fucking other dudes. I already know where that's going. So now, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, fuck that. And I don't like all the emotional bullshit and the drama. I'm not into that shit, man. Fuck that. You are? That's cool. Anyway, I'm ranting about other stuff other than truck driving, but to me, it all ties in together, because all of what I have because of truck driving. I made it work. Because also, I wasn't a dumbass when I went out there. I asked the questions. I thought about everything. There is no such thing as overthinking, as long as the overthinking doesn't result in inaction. Here's where people fuck up. It's not the overthinking that fucks you up. It's the overthinking and petrifying yourself into inaction, not doing anything. You can overthink everything, sure. But you still have to act. You still have to make things happen. Make the magic happen, so to speak. And if you don't, then you're going to be fucked. Then you're going to be sitting there. Well, if you overthink things, there's two different types of overthinking. Positive overthinking and negative overthinking. Negative overthinking is when you sit there and you say, well, I can't do this because of that. I can't do this because of that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck you. Sit in your fucking low-income apartment with your fucking dick in your hand if you want. Go ahead and do that. And then there's positive overthinking, where you say, okay, I want this goal. Here's my goal over here. Okay, this is what I want. I'm going to do whatever I can to get it. But let me take every single facet and variable into consideration on the way, so I minimize the amount of mistakes I make. And instead of learning from my own mistakes, I can be smart enough to learn from other people's mistakes. Right? Right. Like I said, I want to CDL. I want to do truck driving. That's what I want to do. But I have to overthink. I have to think, I need to make sure every piece of paperwork is in order. I need to look at every little thing on that bill of lading so the customer doesn't try to say, I fucked up the load. Okay? You have to also think, okay, if I got to tarp a load, does it say in the contract cannot get wet or has to be tarped? There's a difference. Right? Right. Also, my company says this and that. Okay, here's the deal. Like, somebody said to me, getting on a ladder and removing snow from the roof of your dry van with a roof rake is stupid. I said, no, it's smart. Because unless they have something specifically in their contract that would prohibit you from doing that, technically you are responsible for all sides of your rig. So if you get hurt doing that, and there's no specific policy against that, then guess what? They got to give you workman's comp. right? Or you can fight for it or whatever. But if snow comes off the roof and results in a fatality, well, then you're fucked. You might as well just hope you don't drop one of these, okay? You know, this is a bar of soap. Don't, oh, I just dropped it. Oh, yeah. Don't be that guy. Yeah, don't be the guy worrying about dropping soap. Okay, don't be that guy, okay? Right. So that's why, like I said, there's a difference between negative overthinking and positive overthinking. I do positive overthinking, like I said. I said, okay. People say, oh, you shouldn't move to this area because it's bad and blah, 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 blah. I said, no, I'm going to buy that house. I'm going to move there. I'm going to make it work no matter what. But maybe I should engineer my house so that it's harder to break into, like window barricades. And I even at one point thought about bolting a remote-controlled winch into my floor so I can barricade it from the outside of the house with a remote control. Okay, that's positive overthinking, making it work. Okay, you got to forgive me. Sometimes I tend to be a little extreme. Okay, I tend to be a little extreme sometimes. Okay. But there's no such thing as overthinking or overanalyzing. The difference is whether you overthink. Oh, there's two types, like I said. If you are a positive overthinker, you're just looking at all the angles and trying to execute moves in the most educated and intelligent way that you can. I'm not talking about a guy who sits there and worries about every angle to the point where he doesn't do anything. I'm not talking about that. That's negative overthinking. I'm talking about positive overthinking, which is what I do. Now, have I suffered from depression in the past? Yes, I have, as a matter of fact. But I conquered it with sheer willpower. Antidepressants don't work. You're still depressed. They don't work. I've never tried them, but a buddy of mine did. No. That's not me. If I can't conquer depression with sheer willpower, I need to go find a cliff and just be done with it. You know, that's just the way I see it. But I'm kidding. Don't actually do that. I'm kidding. Don't actually do that. But anyway, I think this video is getting a little bit lengthy.